Hi guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing a video where I'm going to be talking about my goals that I set at the beginning of the year and sort of how I'm getting on with them so far. So it's round about the middle of the year, it's sort of mid-June, so can't believe that we've had sort of nearly 6 months of the year already, but it has absolutely flown past. At the beginning of the year, I think it was something like my second or third video, something like that. Like, I started my channel right at the end of December of last year. I put up a goals video for things that I wanted to achieve with my reading this year. I think I set myself 6 goals. Let me just have a little look. I've got my notebook here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I set myself 6 goals which I thought was achievable. I tried to pick ones that I thought I could actually achieve and not kind of be too ambitious during the year. So I'm going to go through each goal now and let you guys know how I'm getting on with it. So let's get started. So my first goal was my Goodreads goal, and I set it at 40 books this year. Last year I set it at 25 books and I think I ended up reading something like 49. So I didn't want to kind of, again, go too overly ambitious. I know some people will set it at sort of 100 or 150, and I think for me that's too ambitious. So I set it at 40, and when I had a look just before I started filming this video, I have read 39 books. So I'm only 1 book away from achieving my Goodreads goal for this year, so I'm pretty happy about that. I think just because of my booktube channel and sort of filming videos for you guys and things, I just think that I have been reading a lot more. I've watched a lot less television this year as well, which I like catching up with TV and things, but I do like reading more. So yeah, that's been really good. So yeah, I don't really know what the figure is going to end up with at the end of the year. I've not even reached summer yet, when I tend to read a lot of books in summer. So that's really good. The second goal that I had for the year was to read 6 classics. I've not been a massive fan of classics in the past, especially when I was at university. I was kind of put off of them, just because they tend to do things like make me fall to sleep. And I found some of them quite tough going, but I know that a lot of people have a great love of classics, and I haven't read obviously all of them, so I wanted to get a little bit more into classics this year, and so I set myself a goal of reading 6. Not done too badly. I've read 4 and I'm in the middle of a 5th at the moment. So I read, at the beginning of the year, I read The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Really quite enjoyed that. I read The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, which is a collection of 3 short stories. I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which people would class as a modern classic. Absolutely loved this. And then I read 1984 by George Orwell. Again, I suppose you would class this as more of a modern classic. And I'm in the middle at the moment of reading Jane Eyre. I've been reading that for quite some time, but I think because I've been reading the Bailey shortlist and things like that, I haven't been able to sort of dedicate any time to it. So I'm getting back into that now that I've finished reading the shortlist. So that's number 5. So I reckon that goal will be very easily achievable. So the third goal that I had for this year was to read 6 non-fiction books. I've been really getting into non-fiction books at the end of 2016 and I wanted to up the ante on that a little bit, and I have actually read 6 so far, so I've done that, I've achieved that, and I will no doubt read some more non-fiction books this year. So I have read We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, Lion by Saru Brealey, Shakespeare by Bill Bryson, I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai with Christina Lamb, and I also read The Motorcycle Diaries by Che Guevara, which I got from the library, and I'll insert a picture of here. The fourth goal on my list was to read a bit more widely in terms of different countries around the world. So I wanted to read 6 books, one from every continent, excluding the one that I live on, Europe. I've read 4 books. I've not really done this consciously. I've not really been thinking about it apart from the South America one. So the 2 that I haven't covered, I'm going to have to think a bit more carefully about for the second half of the year. But I've picked Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo for Africa. I've picked The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas for North America. Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeleine Tien for Asia. And then I'll insert a picture here again of The Motorcycle Diaries by Che Guevara for South America. So that means that I have sort of Australasia stroke Oceania left, and I also have Antarctica as well. So I need to have a bit of a look on my shelves. I think I've got The Light Between Oceans that I could read for that one, and a couple of others. I don't think I have anything for Antarctica, so if you have any good recommendations I can get from the library or perhaps pick up a cheap copy of, I'd love to know, so leave them down in the comments below. The fifth goal that I had was to finish rereading the Harry Potter series. I'd started it last year, I'd read the first 2 books. I'd only really picked this up again in May. When I signed up to Audible, I started listening to audiobooks. I thought I'd give it, they had like a 30-day free trial, so I thought I'd give it a go in May and listening to the 3rd book, The Prisoner of Azkaban. I really enjoyed it. They're narrated by Stephen Fry, and he's just such a great guy who narrates it really, really well, so I really enjoyed it. So I've just, with my second credit, with my June credit, I've just bought the Goblet of Fire. So I'm listening to that at the moment, sort of listen to it in the car when I'm going to work and coming home from work, and then driving anywhere else during the course of the week. So I've read 1 more book and I've got 4 to go, so we'll have to see how that goes. I want to kind of continue with the audiobooks for Harry Potter, so read 1 a month. So I think that's probably achievable. So if I read Goblet of Fire in June, and then I can read the other 3 and then finish off in September, I think that's pretty achievable, so we'll see how that goes. And then the last goal I had was to reread The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers, and then finally get around to reading The Return of the King. I've read these quite a few years ago now, but I sort of picked up the beginning of The Return of the King and never got around to finishing it, just because I was left it too long in between books 2 and 3, and I was sort of a little bit confused by character names and things like that. This one hasn't been going so well. I've reread The Hobbit. I've read that a few months ago now, and I gave it 3 stars on reread. Wasn't sort of enamoured by it. I think because the films are just so brilliant, I'm sort of maybe tempted more by the films than I am by the books. This is perhaps another one that I might decide to listen to on audiobook. I've sort of put the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, on my wish list, but I'm going to have to kind of see how this one goes. It's not looking too promising at the moment, but if I don't do it, it's not the end of the world. I can always sort of finish rereading it next year or whatever. So there you go, guys. That was my sort of like mid-year wrap up of my reading goals. I've been really well. I'm really happy with how I'm getting on so far. Leave me a comment down below. What have been some of your goals for 2017, and are you managing to keep up with them? I'd love to have a chat with you. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.